Welcome back to winMoJo. My name is Phil, and it has been a long time since I've made a video for you guys, but we're trying to get back into this with a bang. Unfortunately, I've lost access to the old channel, so you'll find all our new videos here on this channel. And if you'll notice on our main page to the right there, you'll see a link to the old videos, but a little bit dated, so probably not going to be as helpful. Today, we're going to be talking about measuring your internet speed on an hour by hour or half hour by half hour basis to make sure that you're getting the internet service that you're expecting, the speed you're expecting. I have a very specific application for this that I need to test my internet service provider due to a hardware fault on their end that they'll be replacing this Monday. And I want to compare and contrast current speeds to the repaired speeds to make sure that I am getting what I'm paying for. So fortunately, I won't be in town to sit there and click the button on speedtest.net to do that in a manual way. So in talking with some folks at work, I came across the solution that Speedtest provides, which is Speedtest CLI, which is the command line interface for their application. You'll note that the normal speed test.net is just a web page you go to. It comes up, you click a button, it basically sends information from your computer to the speed test servers and back again, and gives you a down speed and an up speed for your internet connection. That's great if you're there to click the button. I want to automate this process so that we can run it every couple of hours. In my case, actually, I want to run it every 30 minutes for a very specific 6-hour window when I'm seeing my current internet speeds decrease. So we're going to go is speedtest.net /apps/CLI. And I'll put the link below in the description, in addition to a link to any files that I will be illustrating to you guys here. Since we are working on Windows, we're going to download for Windows. If you click this button, it'll download a small zip file into your download directory. Once you've downloaded the zip file, I recommend that you unzip it into a folder called Speed Test in the root of your C drive. This will make things much easier to pass to. This will matter later when we automate the process. So you'll create a folder called Speed Test underneath your C drive. As you can see here, I have done. And inside there, you will find, once you unzip the files, you'll find speedtest.exe and speedtest.md. You'll also notice this third file, we'll be talking about that. I'll be providing this to you guys in a zip file on my Dropbox so that you can download it and not have to recreate the wheel line by line. You're more than welcome to pause the video and retype it if you're looking to learn, but you can also just steal mine and modify as needed. Okay, so once we've got these files here, if we want to see what can be passed to speedtest.exe, you can find that in the MD file, but I'll show you an easier way to do it. You'll just go in here and you will open up a command line. You'll type CMD in the search. You'll click on this. I've already done this and I've already passed it to my C folder. So you can see here I've got CD /speedtest. That gets me into the directory. And then I can type speed test and -help. That will show me all the commands that I can pass, all the variables I can pass to speed test to get different results. Now, this is more advanced stuff. If you want to get into this, you can. I will tell you right now that the solution I've come up with is a very simplistic solution that I think is actually a little more readable. There is a comma delineated file. If you want to do that, you can output it to JSON. You can output it to a bunch of fun stuff that it's probably a little more advanced. CSV is not too hard, but I'm not going to get into that here because I found that this solution is a little bit more, I wouldn't say elegant, but a little more human friendly. Now, if I just run speed test from the command line, I'll show you what it's going to do. It's going to basically go out. It's going to find the nearest server to where I'm logged in, and then it's going to run a download test. As you can see here, I'm on a wireless network in a third-party building right now, so I'm not at home. So these speeds are pretty pathetic compared to what I'm used to, but it'll give you the gist. So you can see it's here. It's running in a semi-graphical fashion to kind of give you an idea of how far along it's going, giving you percentages and all that good stuff. Well, that's great. I love that data. But what if I want that data every 30 minutes? Do I want to sit here and run this all the time? Every 30 minutes, do I need to be home to do that? If I miss it? This is where the power of the script comes in. So let's take a look at speedtest.bat, which I have created for you guys. And again, I will put that in a Dropbox zip file. Now let's talk about what this does and why we've written it this way.
So this is just a bat file. A bat file is just an executable batch file that passes commands to that CMD window inside in the background of Windows 10 or Windows 8 or any of the particular Windows you might be running, 7. Um, and basically, let's just walk through what the script does so you kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to achieve here. So at echo off is just a command to turn off these different commands popping up in the DOS window when it comes up, or the CMD window when it comes up, so that we don't have to see the actual commands. But this one will take the date. It'll write that date to this file. Now it's important that you have the full path to your directory, because when we run this later on from the task manager, it's not going to know where the speed results.txt is supposed to live unless you tell it the full path. Same thing with the actual speedtest.exe. So we will make sure we're using full paths here, and this is why I've done this. So that first one just writes the date to the top of the file. The next one down sets my loop to equal 0. That'll only become important here as we get into the coding a little bit. Here's the loop code. So basically, I'm starting off with, hey, first thing, put a blank line in, write that append. These double arrows mean append. If you had one arrow here, you would be overwriting the file, and you do not want that because you'd constantly be overwriting your file and you wouldn't be able to see historical data. And then it says, okay, then basically write the time after that. And then I want you to run speed test. I've turned the progress to equal no. And then I want you to use this specific server. Now you can get this server ID from a list on speedtest.net. You go type into Google speedtest.net server ID. It will bring up a page. You can search the server nearest you. I'm looking for a very specific. I'm looking to go from my internet provider here at my house to my internet provider's hub here in town, because I know that there is a hardware problem between here and there that they are remedying. So I'm only looking to see results before and after that physical swap out. And then write the results to that same speed results text file. Again, we're appending what's already been written. And then I want you to time out for, in this case, the script says 5 seconds. Now, I would not do this at a 5-second interval. I'm actually going to set this to 1800 seconds, which is 30 minutes. But for the sake of this demo, I'm going to show this to you guys this way so that you can actually see it in progress. So I want it to run every half hour. So I want it to time out for half an hour, and then I want it to start to count the loop. So basically what I say is, all right, every time you run this, take the loop of 0 and then add a 1 to it. So the first time it'll be 1, or first time rather it'll be 0. Second time it'll be 1. Third time it'll be 2. If the loop equals 2, once it gets to 2, I want you to go to next and write 3 blank lines to the speed results text, just to give me some space before it runs again. I'll have a little space there so I know that that's a new day. And actually, I set this to 12. So this will be 12, and this will be 1800 when I run it finally. That way I get every 30 minutes, I get a result, and it runs 12 times. Therefore, I will get 6 hours worth of data. If you see where I'm going with that. Again, full path is important, again, for later on. So what happens when we actually run this file? Well, when we run it, all we have to do here is go back to our window, and we'll just double click it. We'll let it run here. And it won't be too exciting here. I might do a little time travel here just to kind of get you guys to the end of the process and let you see exactly what output's happening. But as you can see, as this is running in the foreground here, it's already started writing a file called speed result.txt. And this will be what we'll be reviewing. So here's the first pass just finished. It's going to do another pass. It counts down 5 seconds. It runs again. Alrighty, and this is about to finish. There we go, we're done. It's run its 2 times. Now we're gonna look at the results file. So we double click on this text file. It'll open up in Notepad, or if you have Word Plus or Notepad++ like I do, it'll open up there. I prefer Notepad++, but that is perfectly up to you. So you can see the first thing it did was write the date, which is today. It wrote the time of the first run. It basically said, hey, I wanna hit this. This is the server I'm calling. This is Relink in Colorado Springs. I'm doing it from this particular ISP. And here are the speeds, latency. Here's the download. Here's the upload. And I can scroll down to the next run. Here's the download. Here's the upload. So fairly consistent across those 2 runs. And then imagine this running every 30 minutes for 6 hours. I would have 6 hours worth of data. And then the next day when it ran, it would append to this file Saturday and the new date, January 18. of 2020, and it would do it again for another 6 hours. So I can have data for the entire week that I'm out of town. So that is why we have the script written the way it does and why it depends. Now you could certainly do this to a CSV file, and it'll be much more Excel friendly if you are a spreadsheet kind of person. I prefer this visual data and knowing it's measuring in the MVPS the way that I'm used to seeing it, and a quick compare and contrast with visually is easier for me. So I will include this script again for you guys to use. So, all right, now we've got our speed test working. We know it's working. How do we automate it to run? Okay, now that's a whole nother animal. And we'll start down here and we'll be going to task scheduler. All right. Okay, so we're going to set up a new run here of this script. We're going to go ahead and click create basic task. We're going to call it speed test. You can set a description if you like. We're going to set a trigger to run daily. You have other options here, as you can see. It's going to recur every day. I want it to run, let's say today at, let's see, 12:14 if I can be fast. Next, start a program. We want it to start our speed.bat. Next, and finish. So we're going to let that sit there and idle for a minute, and it will automatically kick off so you guys can see that happen in real time. And then we will look at the file that it creates. It should look just like the one we created earlier. Now, the reason I told you had to put the full path in the script, pathing it all the way to the file name from the root, is because Task Scheduler runs out of the Win32 directory, so it doesn't know where speed test lives. You have to tell it exactly where it lives. That's why I went ahead and pathed everything out all the way to the end for you guys. So make sure you have that in there. If you can sample run it once you've set up your task. You could literally run it manually here, but we're going to wait and let it kick off on its own. It's going to kick off, start running. And again, we'll time travel. All right, and here it is completing out its second run, and it goes away. So let's take a look at, again, go back to our folder, and we'll look at the results. And once again, exactly what we were expecting to see. We've got the timestamp, the time it ran, the speeds, and again, it's all sitting nice and pretty and clean way that you can take a look at it and determine whether your speeds are being consistent across time. So, all right, you do not want this running every 5 seconds over 6 hours. You're likely to make the server think you are doing an attack on it, and it's likely to block your IP and probably get you in at least a naughty letter from your ISP. So I would recommend, again, I'm setting this for every half hour, which is 1800 seconds. And so I'm going to run it 12 times again. That would be only 6 times, or only be 6 hours worth of data across, 12 times across 6 hours. I don't think that's going to be any problem at all. They're not going to see that as an attack by any way, shape, or form. But do not run this thing every 5 seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will get yourself into trouble. Plus, it'll be sucking up your bandwidth. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope this tool can be of use to you. Check back here for other tips, tricks, and tutorials. If you have something you'd like resolved or solved or have questions about and you'd like me to make a tutorial video, feel free to comment in the box below, and I will be happy to review those and get it back to you when I can. All right, thanks again for tuning in to winMoJo. My name's Phil. See you next time.